here you can see how the contour lines are a little bit flatter. We made it to this turnaround, and that's where the canoe was. Lots of cool stuff you can find in the lake. Just gotta go look.
Now just think for a minute, you can close your eyes, think 1,200 years ago. No houses, no motorboats, but there's villages right up there, and effigy mounds right up there. And maybe you can smell the smoke from the fires and hear children laughing, and it was a different time. And we were honored to bring this canoe up.
Historians already believe the canoe belonged to ancestors of the Ho-Chunk Nation.
If it's going to protect and preserve history and culture of us, humankind or mankind in this area, we're totally all in support of that.
The Wisconsin Historical Society was kind of at the backbone of this entire project, but people don't necessarily immediately associate the Great Lakes with maritime history. And so it's always kind of fun to me when I start having conversations with people and then they're like, wait, you're a maritime archaeologist in Wisconsin? Why?
So maritime archaeology is the study of man's use of the waterways. So that can include looking at submerged boats, but it also can be looking at sort of this manipulation of the waterway through locks or through commerce, or even through Native American usage of that water.
This looks at the Ho-Chunk people and our youth and how they're interconnected.
Usually signage is written about us from other groups of people, other societies of people. How many people talk about us as a past history? So we want to work on that together.
With the process that the archaeologists now have, they can reassert, the fact that, we've been here for quite a long while.
I'm having a really profound moment right now, and I'm going to start crying because I've tried everything.
All these data points in the past that we line up through artifacts, manuscripts, photographs, they show us how we got here today.
Okay, if you're staying here to clean, you can come on over.
When you turn around and use an artifact like the canoe and say, what can the future be? You can think about that, how people lived, where they lived, what problems they were solving at that point in time. There are answers in the past that can inform the future.
Seen any tool marks?
Yeah, I got
If we just left it like it is, just pulled it out, it could crack some more, turn to mush, fall apart, be gone forever. So we want to do the right thing. We tell stories from the things that people left behind. That's why this canoe is such a rich artifact. It tells us about craftsmanship, about fishing, about transportation. Think of trying to make a canoe out of white oak, one of the hardest woods, with hand tools. If there's a part of the canoe that probably looked very similar to what it was when it was floating, it would be this part right here.
So we're seeing a canoe that relates to a people on the edge of a major transition in how they were about to live their lives, that then carried over and compounded and led to the native peoples of the modern day.
So how do you keep track of all of these pieces?
So we've got numbers that are assigned each one, and that way if they get separated, we can use the photos to match them back up. Get it from all angles so that we can track this little piece as it moves through the curation process.
It has 2 cameras, and then it sends out a laser, and it looks at the laser pattern and takes images of that.
So is it going to do the side, then the top, then the side? Those will be the segments. With the scan, we're learning today we can do a lot of things with it. We can reproduce the whole canoe.
We're more than just Wisconsin. We're a place that can actually emanate, tell these great stories of Wisconsin and connect them throughout the world. And the canoe proves it.
This is a website that we run in partnership with University of Wisconsin Sea Grant Institute. They host it. So not only does it have a little bit of something about every one of the 750 plus shipwrecks that we know of in Wisconsin waters. By clicking this button here, there's photos and histories. And
Noah Marine Sanctuary actually has its roots at the Wisconsin Historical Society, in that we've had a maritime archaeology program for over 3 decades. It's all of the work of all of the maritime archaeologists that have worked at the Society of documenting shipwrecks in Wisconsin and then listing them in the National Register of Historic Places, which means that there is intense research that is conducted on each of the shipwrecks that we use the term integrity, that retains enough of that sense of what that ship was like.
There are about 210 shipwrecks that are known in Wisconsin waters. I've either dived most of them or visited them with ROVs. There's, I don't know, a handful maybe that we haven't visited yet, but every year we have 1 or 2 new discoveries that are made in Wisconsin waters.
Last May, Tammy Thompson found another canoe, and we went down and got a little piece of it for carbon-14 dating and wood analysis, and it turned out to be 1000 BC. And you might recall that our last canoe, Mendota canoe number 1 we call it, was at AD 800, a 1200-year-old canoe. This now is a 3,000-year-old canoe at the bottom of Lake Mendota, very near where the last one was excavated.
Oh, what did you think when you first got up close and personal?
Goosebumps. I still got goosebumps, you know, just to see history. If you think about this canoe being 3,000 years old back then, there wasn't tribal like affiliations. It was just one, you know, so we're not a separate tribe claiming this, or, you know, nobody has direct ownership of it. It's all one person.
You know, a lot of our history is the oral history, and you know that you could make it up if you wanted to, but you know, having physical proof and you know having a date of your existence, you know, it will definitely give a sense of belonging, as well as a little meaning, you know, to the connection to the land as well as the water. It'll have impact for sure.
When it comes right down to it, the ability to take today's process now through science and their expertise over here and utilize it to teach our youth, you know, about our steep history and our connection to an area here and the water on here, and that's what makes life, you know, our life here in Wisconsin, for example, such a beautiful thing to enjoy.
There's a lot to find. You have to go and look. Every single day I see something new, even in places that I've been to before. And I get to learn things all the time, and I get to just spend a lot of time with a lot of good people and understand really the history that's all around us.